Hey, how's it going, everybody? Sorry I was a few minutes late here. I was in my one-on-one with my manager, and we ran all the way up until 2 o'clock. But we got going here, and we're live now, just 5 minutes late. If you're watching and you're in the chat, go ahead and say hi, and we'll see if this lower third stuff is working again. Rocking the same setup that we did last time with a little bit of a different deal here. I've been having trouble with like lag between the video and the audio on my live streaming, and also I've noticed it in meetings as well, where my voice lags behind, or my voice is ahead of the visual part. And I had the ATEM Mini plugged into a Thunderbolt 3 dock that I got. I got one of those big like CalDigit ones, and I'm plugging directly into the laptop now. I'm gonna see if that works better. If not, I may have to switch back to the cam link. So we'll kind of see how that goes. So we got Jeremy here so far. Thanks for joining me, Jeremy. Appreciate you hanging out. I think we're gonna do what kind of what I did last week, which is just like a let's go live and just like check out something together. Let's just learn something together. I had a lot of fun interacting with the chat and testing out the ability to show like comments on the screen, testing out all this live stream equipment, because we do it, for real in front of, audiences of our internal associates. And I don't get a lot of chance to like just practice stuff with like low stress environments where it's just us hanging out, doing something together, learning something along the way. So I really like doing this with YouTube, and if we can check out something that we haven't seen before, then all the better. Today I wanted to go through all of the Teams meeting apps. I thought that would be kind of a fun topic to explore, where we've gotten these new apps in Microsoft Teams meetings, and a lot of them I really want to know what they do, but I work in a typical corporate environment where I can't it's not the best security posture for me to just start installing all these apps just to see if they're good or not. And I've done a couple here and there, and then you end up like on their mailing list, and they end up sending you a bunch of crap like every day or every 2 days, like, hey, did you know we have a pro subscription? It's like, yeah, but I don't care. I tried your app in Teams and it kind of sucked. So I thought maybe all of us together, we could go through all of these in a test tenant. We could use Contoso, and then we're going to sign Megan Bowen up for all that stuff so that I don't get spammed by all these different companies. And we can see if any of these apps are worthwhile or not, or if they, how they stand up to the Microsoft things like Microsoft Polls, for instance. So if you guys want to hang out and check that out with me, we'll just go through this together and just kind of see what some of these apps do. So I created a meeting here, and I figured that we would start out with how do you get access to these meeting apps. I did a Teams tip video, I guess it's been about 3 weeks now, on meeting polls and showing that, like, hey, Microsoft now has Microsoft Forms available inside of your Teams meetings, and it's a little bit of a roundabout way to go add those. So we can start out with that, and then we'll just go down the list and just see how many of these it'll let us add and what each of them does for us in our meeting. So the way that you add applications to meetings now that they're natively built into the Teams environment is you go and you open up either the invite like this, or if you're in the meeting or you've been chatting about the meeting, you could also find it in your list of chats right here, and then you'll be able to add apps there. But across the top, we've got a new plus sign right here. And before, we were able to do things like add an Excel spreadsheet, or hey, here's the slide deck that we're going to go over. So you'd be able to kind of like basically pin that file or pin that dashboard or whatever website so that everybody saw it in the meeting chat. Well, with these optimized for meetings area up here at the top, now if you add those, there'll be actual buttons in the meeting control bar. So where your like mute button is, your raise hand, all that cool stuff, you'll be able to access those features there. And then they pop out as a panel inside the Teams meeting with a meeting optimized UI. So the first one, we can just go through like Microsoft Forms real quick and kind of talk about that. And then we'll go through some of these third-party ones. So if I select Microsoft Forms, then that's going to come up here with the Forms app and say, hey, this is what it's going to do for you. Do you want to add it? I click add. And now I've got a new tab up here at the top called polls. And it's pretty plain, but I could add a new poll here. Click that in the middle. And now I could do something like, what's your favorite Christmas song? And then you can do, like all I want Christmas is you, or baby it's cold outside. I don't know why anybody would pick that. It's the worst one ever. Jingle bells, we could do that. And so you have a few more options here at the bottom where you can now choose whether or not you want to share the results. You can keep it anonymous. So if like you don't want people to know how somebody else voted, you can make it anonymous now. And then this is a new button actually in the past like week, which is, do you want other people to co-author this particular poll? So that's actually new since my video. That's kind of interesting to find. That basically, hey, whenever I launch this, other people who are presenters, they'll be able to add new answers to it or close the poll or do things like that. So that's kind of a new button. And this stuff is just always changing all the time. So what's cool about the polls app is that you can have these different cards here where you've got more polls. And when you go to join your meeting, I'm going to start up this meeting. We're just not going to use audio or anything and just get into it here. We've got this new forms button at the top. So right next to the brand new breakout rooms are available now. They launched a couple days ago, but we have the new forms button. So when I click on that, I get this native experience in here. And of course it says that something went wrong. That's great. Ideally, it would load up. There we go. And there's the tile. Probably this is a brand new tenant, so I probably never used forms before. So it probably had to get into forms the first time. But I can take this poll and I can go ahead and launch it from this little UI. So that's the native app, but I've seen that there's a couple more apps here if we want to just start running down this list for Slido and Poly. I get, questions from people who like to use Poly in our environment and, say that it's better than Forms in some way, not as good as Forms in other ways. So I was thinking, why don't we start with that one? That's probably going to be the most popular third-party app to add. So Poly's like Forms and everything, but on steroids a little bit. And this one's going to sign in with my Microsoft account. So here, this third-party app, we're going to give it permissions to do some stuff, and basically it's going to sign me in and be able to read my profile. So that's what it's going to look at. It's going to be able to see basic information about me and my company. I'll go ahead and accept that, this test tenant here. And then once I hit save, it's going to add a new tab here. We're going to see what this is called. So this tab, it's called Poly, real unique there. And I see that basically it signed me up for a free plan here under Poly. We got no active subscription, so I guess I could step up to a pro subscription for Poly and get a little bit more functionality. But let's see what we can do with at least just the free stuff. So I'm going to create a new poll here. I guess this is, do you want to ask a question of the meeting members, or do you want to quiz them? I wonder what the difference is between a question and a quiz. Maybe a quiz has a right and wrong answer, maybe. Let's start with a question. So already here, I see that we've got a few different options. So with Microsoft Polls, with the Forms built-in application, you can basically just ask a multiple choice question. What's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite Christmas song? And kind of get a conversation going. But with this, it looks like I can do multiple choice, but I could also ask an open-ended question or a rating question. So with the open-ended question, this one's pretty awesome. I've gotten a lot of questions about like, hey, I wish we could do this in meeting polls, because then maybe you could build like a word cloud or something like that. So I definitely want to try that out. So let's do like a, where are you from? We'll just ask that open-ended question so people can put in some free text and say where they're from in the meeting. It's interesting. So you can do date and time, or you can do just text. So if I select those two, I don't get any more options. So we'll just kind of leave that as like text. And then do we want it to be available while people are voting, or afterwards, or not at all? And do we want it to be anonymous? So I think for that, you probably would want to mark it as anonymous, and you probably would want the results to show up in real time. There's a guy, I watch a lot of his live streams, Aaron Parecki. He does a lot of really cool streaming hardware and streaming config tutorials, and he does these Q&As. And one of the coolest things he does is he starts off his stream to kind of get the chat going with, hey, where are you watching from? And then he built a custom app in Chrome that shows Google Earth. And then as people say Kansas City, Missouri, or London, England, it will put a pin on the map automatically. So visually, everybody can see where everybody else is watching from, and you really see like the spread across the globe that Aaron has. So I think showing that in real time would be really cool for this type of a question. So we're just going to leave it at that. That's pretty simple. So I've got a question there. Let's see how many of these it will let me create. I guess I could do a multiple choice question here for like, what's your favorite Christmas song? We'll say, we'll do that. You can allow multiple choices, so that's pretty good. That's just like Microsoft. You're able to say multiple answers on the Microsoft poll side, so that you can choose multiples if you want to. Got the same functionality here as well. And then same stuff at the bottom. Do I want to see it in real time? Do I want to see it later? I would say maybe this one, let's do it after close, because we don't really want to influence other people maybe as they're voting. Let's just keep running down this list here. A rating. So what does that look like? how happy are you with this meeting? I don't know. And then it comes up with like, you know, a scale of 1 to 5. How happy or sad are you? Looks like I can't add more than 5, so I can't do like on a scale of 1 to 10 or something. Oh, I have something here. What type of rating do you want to add? Do you have a agree, disagree, a 1 to 5, a scale of 1 to 10, or star rating, emojis, or a net promoter score? Let's see what those do. So 1 to 5 gives me 1 through 5. 1 to 10 gives me that, which that's another thing in Microsoft polls. I believe you can only show, hey, there's some more comments. I believe you can only show up to 7 answers. It was either 6 or 7. I'll have to see if I remember that. Then the star rating got 5 answers again, 1 to 5 stars. And emojis. So there's like ecstatic to like super bummed out emojis. That's kind of interesting. Then the net promoter score is 0 to 5. Oh no, 0 to 10. I wonder how that does, like if it calculates something different. We'll do a star rating. We'll have that be, you know, private and anonymous. Okay, so we've gone through those 3 types of questions. I kind of want to see what this like open-ended with like a date looks like date and text. We'll do this like input type. What month is your birthday? We'll try that one out. Do it real time and make it not anonymous so people can buy each other gifts. All right, I'm on my 4th question and it's still letting me add them under the free account. With this one, let's create a quiz here. Okay, so with a quiz, you're able to have 1 to 10 points for that particular question. So, console quiz. And we'll have this be like, what's the best console? And that'll be Xbox Series S or X, PS5, and Switch. We'll do that, and then I guess, okay, you pick what the correct answer is by checking the little checkbox there. That's pretty good, and then I can add multiple questions to it as well. So I can say like that one's worth 5 points, and this other one is worth, you know, 1 point. Did you buy Cyberpunk? I guess we can do like yes and no. We'll make that correct answer. Yes, of course. So, and this isn't in real time, so I guess they're going to take their time taking the quiz, and then at the end of it, you'll see how everybody scored. So after close, results are available to the audience after the quiz is closed. Results are only available to the sender. Okay. Okay, so you could have like just the person who took it, or just the person who sent it out. You can grade theirs, or you can see how everybody did. That's kind of interesting. There's no anonymous option for this quiz one. Everybody saw my like, where are you from right now? Spencer's watching from Smithville, Missouri. We got Morris here from Blue Springs. Thanks for joining, guys. It's kind of gloomy and crappy here in Kansas City right now. It's raining outside. But Daryl says that it's summer here. The Southern Hemisphere version of the Christmas song. Summer Wonderland. Yep, Daryl's in New Zealand, if you guys didn't know that already. If you're on YouTube, surely you watch Modern Workplace Change. You watch his great videos already. So that's the different types of questions we can ask. It looks like there's also some templates here, so that's kind of cool looking. Holy cow, there's a lot of templates that you can do. So there's like one-on-ones, coordinate talking points. That might have been cool for like the one-on-one I just got out of with my manager. An all hands. So I guess this would be like after the meeting's over, how did it go? What topics do you want for your all hands? An ask me anything, that might be kind of cool for, what questions does the community have? Requests, your first 30 days on the job, first 90 days on the job. Man, there's a lot of these. Put in instant request for your favorite snacks. Kind of interesting that that's like used enough that they would want to make it a template. That's kind of cool. Let's try this one, this weekly team check-in. So like everybody's got like their weekly team meeting and it's always just like, hey, what's your projects looking like? Maybe that could streamline things a little bit. So this basically creates a bunch of questions for you that are like, all right, what's your number one focus? What are you most excited about? Are there any challenges that you're facing? Are there any resources that you need? And then that's going to be private, so everybody can kind of submit what they're working on. Dang, that's kind of cool. Okay, so there's a bunch of questions. We've touched the template area. We've created any type of question we can do, and we can do up to 25 responses collected. Let's hit learn more. I bet this is where we're going to get into the pro stuff. So with the free plan on Poly, we have access to most of the functionality, but it's limited by the number of responses you can collect. So you get 25 responses per sender per month. Okay, so I guess if you were going to use this for your you were going to use this for like your team meeting that you have once a week, that would be what? Say you got a team of 5 and you got 4 weeks in the month, you would get 20 responses. So use up almost all of them. But on the month where you got 5 weeks in the month, like you got 5 Mondays next month, you would use all 25. You wouldn't be able to do any other polls. So I could see you'd run out pretty quickly if you did that. A response is counted as a completion. So if you have a 10-question poll, 29 people, that's 29 responses. So it's the person who responded, not how many questions they answered. For free users, when you reach your limit, you can't create anymore. You can't do it anymore. They shut you off, but you're not going to get like a bill. Let's see how much Poly is. So Poly for teams, you can do it for free for 25 responses. Use 3 templates. But then if you want to step it up, now you're getting into like it's $20 a month. That allows you to get 500 responses per month. So you're still limited, there. And if you teach classes or something, you might have to step up into like the bigger stuff, and you're doing $50 a month basically just to ask people questions in meetings. That's kind of getting up there. But hey, if you facilitate and teach classes, maybe it's worth it for you. So that's the annual pricing. I guess you get a discount if you go annual versus monthly. And then there's also like other apps and Teams with Poly. Poly's been around forever with Microsoft Teams. Let's jump in here and see what Poly looks like in the meeting. So I was already in this meeting, so that window was actually open the whole time while I was messing around with Poly, and you see the little parrot is right here for us. Let me know if my zooming on my window is working properly. It looks like when I zoom in, it might be going off a little bit, but there's Poly, the little parrot right there. I click on that. It's going to do the same thing as polls, so it brings up the little picker of all my questions. So that's pretty cool. I guess I can create a new poll just off the cuff, or I could send a template. Start out with a template. So let's hit send now and see what that looks like. So I'm going to lower my thing, and let's invite somebody else to this meeting here. So I've got my Dell computer up as well, so let me get that logged in real quick so you guys can see what the attendee view looks like here. So RDP, I'm going to connect over here to my other account. Okay, so we've got the Dell was open. I just closed it because I'm stupid. All right, so there's my Dell computer. We're gonna get into Teams for that real quick, and let's send me an invite here. So where are you from? I'm gonna say Kansas City. Hit submit. So we see one of them popped in there like that. And let me grab the meeting details real quick, send it to my other admin account real quick here. So we're going to do that. You'll see the last thing I did here was testing out meeting polls. Let's not use audio and just join it. So this guy is joining after the meeting has started already. So we're going to flip back here. It let me into the meeting. There's a live poll right now. But I joined late, so it didn't pop up asking me to answer the question, so that's interesting. But if I go to Poly, okay, so I guess each person has to sign in and give access to this. Great. Well, let's do it. So it associates with, you know, who the person is. So that's a bigger barrier to entry than Microsoft Forms, where you can have like your guests do that, right? That's something to keep in mind. Let's prove that. Okay, so now that, yeah, that's configured, now I can see that like there's a live question. It is live and it's anonymous, so they're not going to know what I wrote here. So I can click answer, and then on this one I would say like, we'll say Smithville on this one for his sake. So I answered the word Smithville, and then now there's an update over here on the side, and you see anonymous, anonymous, and it doesn't. It's just a list of answers, I guess. So that would have been cooler if it showed like a word cloud kind of starting to be built, you know, and you'd see like if a bunch of people answered Kansas City. I wonder if I could change my answer. No, it doesn't look like I can change my answer on this. So that's interesting to note. Okay, so there's that. I can close out that poll. And on the other side, we'll see that, okay, that went to closed, so just grayed it out, but I can still see the results. And then over here, we've got the next one, which I guess there's another difference. Microsoft polls, you can reopen the poll, but on Poly, you can't reopen it. I don't have like the ability to reopen that. Now I've got, what is your favorite Christmas song? So I did that, it popped up in the middle, and it did it on the attendee side too. So everybody sees that. Got Jingle Bells, so I voted this. It tells me what I voted, which is good to know. And then this other one, we got 100%, and it should update here in a second with 2 people, so 100%. And then you just got the list of results there. So that gives you a little bar graph. We'll go ahead and close this poll out here. Oh, hey, we got somebody else international as well. Carol, thanks for joining from Canada. That's awesome. Daryl's asking, could probably provide a single sign-on to Office 365. That might make the sign-in easier. You know, I would imagine that it might, especially Daryl, if you get into this custom here. If you get into enterprise, I wonder if that would have single sign-on capabilities. Let's see if there's anything under these like this difference chart. Centralized billing. Here we go, getting into like security. So it's all, you know, SOC 2 compliant, GDPR, all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't say anything about single sign-on. Let's search their help center real quick and see. Single sign-on. Poly for IT teams. I was talking about I bet this is a support article. Yeah, here we go. I'm not seeing it off the top of my head. So if one of you guys find out, let me know in the comments below. We'll see. Oh my gosh, we got Alex here from Germany. People all over the globe. It's amazing that like until like a year ago, whenever I started like making videos and sending things out to the community instead of just consuming from the tech community all the time, trying to share a little bit as well, that like I've gone from like not knowing hardly anybody outside of especially the US, let alone even just like my state, to knowing people from all over the world. It's kind of it takes me aback a little bit to realize that like I know people from New Zealand and all over Europe and Australia now. Like that's so far away from me. And the world feels so much smaller now whenever whenever you join the community and contribute. So that's pretty cool. Let's start this next poll here. That's weird that it did a little schedule thing on me. So that's interesting. Like the UI, I would kind of hope that like, maybe it would like animate the stars out or something, and show like all 5 stars and let you pick between them. But instead it's just a radio button with different stars. So, I mean, I guess you could do the same thing in the Forms app with just saying, putting in like emoji stars or something like that. So not really anything unique about Poly for that. What month is your birthday? So this is that one that was a date instead of a text. Okay, so it doesn't have like what is the month, but I can do what is the date of my birthday. So that's kind of interesting. And we could like go forward here to a random date. February 3rd is my actual birthday, by the way. And April 15th, the other one. So so that came back in. It again, like now it has my name because that was not marked anonymous. So I did see that it's got my actual name that my Microsoft account is. So there's that permission that I gave it to read my basic profile information. It's pulling my name from my Microsoft account. So that's interesting. Let's start the quiz up, see what that looks like. So here's the attendee view. I've got, this one's worth 5 points. And I've got a next button. So it shows you one question at a time. That's pretty cool. Hit next. And submitted. So I got them all wrong. I picked this, picked the Xbox. I picked the wrong on Cyberpunk. So I got 0 out of 6 points. That's pretty cool that you can do like, if you're teaching a class or something like that, you could do a pop quiz and actually have like a score, which is pretty cool. I'm sure that, that's not going to tie back to any kind of like, course grading that you're doing or anything like that. But, it'd be kind of cool to have like an informal competition with your coworkers or with your classmates. That's pretty cool. I could see like if Microsoft would add that to Microsoft Forms, that would be a pretty engaging thing to have like a little competition. It'd be cool. That's what the quiz looks like. And was that the last thing I did? Yeah, that was the last one I did. So there's Poly. I think that's about it for that one. Let's go check out the next one now. Okay, let's check out Slido, because I know that is another poll type app. And I think the poll ones are going to be, at least out of the gate, those are probably the most popular category, because it's really obvious, like, oh, cool, I can add polls. It's, it's not something that's scary and intimidating to deal with. I've got one user that says that she really likes Slido. She's seen a third-party contractor say that he used Slido in some like other like Zoom or something that they attended, and she was like, oh my gosh, it was so engaging. So this will be cool. We'll check out Slido next. So let's install that and see what the tab looks like. Keeps dinging in my ear because every one of these apps, this is where it starts to get annoying doing these like third-party apps, is like now I've got a bot that's going to try to like help me out all the time and offer things, hey, did you check out our premium service? It's probably going to do that in 3 days from now. So welcome to Slido. Let's sign up. It's free. Okay, so this one I can create an account or I can sign up with Google. So I'm not going to sign up with Google. That's for sure. We're going to do Megan Bowen. She is an executive. Let's make her an executive here. So I need to get her email address from my list of emails. There's that. And there's her email. And here's her super secret password. There we go. That's a good password, apparently. That's weird. It didn't have a confirmed password. You just type it in once. Okay. All right, so I got to create an event, and now that's going to add an S button. Looks a little bit like the Skype button, doesn't it? Skype logo. All right, let's do it. Let's create an event in Slido. See what it does. Okay. So you got Q&A and you got polls. This is a different, looking UI. Like Poly, that's pretty, matching the Teams interface. Of course, Microsoft Forms is gonna match its interface too. That's weird that it's not working very well. Slido, yeah, they went dark mode on theirs. So yay, I created an event. So I guess the meeting I'm having is an event. I would imagine that that's probably gonna tie to how many events I can have per month before it starts like wanting to charge for that. But we can do different things. So we've got multiple choice. We got a word cloud. There you go. I think that would be really engaging, especially to start out a meeting with like, hey, what do you think about this? And it kind of like gets bigger. That's pretty cool. Now you can do a quiz. Apparently that's new. It's all new to me. Okay. And this looks like it's going to do kind of like Kahoot, right? Where it's got like, you go to slido.com and you have like this hashtag event code that you can do. Under a rating, so there's 1 to 5, 1 to 10, and then open text. Yeah, so this would be like, hey, what questions do you guys have? And you can kind of have a Q&A that way. Surveys. So there's where, so that one's grayed out. I can't make a survey. It's probably just a multi-answer poll or multi-question poll. There's my event code. So it did generate this code, which I guess if you guys go to Slido.com and do Z632, you could probably vote in these polls. Templates, let's see what it looks here. So here's a few, yeah, word cloud. See how long this list is. There's a lot of options here too. That's a ton. That's pretty cool that it has some sample questions. So you can, if you don't know where to start, you can like you can kind of like use these. That's pretty sweet. Oh wait, there was a couple more. So there's my polls. Oh, you have categories too. So you're like, well, to start out the meeting, we'll go with an icebreaker. So here's all the icebreaker things. How was your morning? How energized are you? That's pretty cool. Let's add that one. Where are you coming in from? Did they do multiple answers? Oh, there's a profanity filter for this one. That's kind of cool. I think you can set a character limit too. Interesting. Well, let's save it. So now I've got an interface here where it's here's the polls that are available. Audience Q&A. So I'm guessing, yeah, there's upgrade. Questions for review. It looks like this would add a moderated Q&A to your Teams meeting. Like you can do that today in Teams live events. Perhaps with Slido, you could upgrade and then you could just run your Q&A through that so that people could ask questions. You'd have to direct them to like, hey, everybody, click this new icon in the top of the meeting, and that's where you're going to ask your questions. I imagine unless you go turn off the chat in the meeting options, people would probably just throw things in the chat still, because that's what they've been used to for years by now. Let's try this word cloud one, because I think that's pretty cool. Oh wait, there's already a word cloud. That's what my template was. Let's try something else then. Try a quiz. Add an option, so it'd be Switch, Xbox, PS5. Oh, there's a timer on this. That's pretty cool. You can have it auto close. Show a leaderboard. Nice. And then yeah, it's kind of the same UI as Poly here. I can click the checkbox to make a right answer. I can also rearrange these. So that's kind of cool. And then I can add another question, click the plus button. It looks like they're just multiple choice questions when it comes to these. So that's kind of interesting. You can't have like I guess you could have a true false. You know, you can do multiple choice, you can do true false. You can't have open-ended questions, which kind of makes sense. You have the computer is calculating the score, right? One thing that's different here is it's a random quiz question. Oh my gosh. Wow, okay, that's cool. So you could click on this little like dice icon, and then you could build a trivia game. Oh, that's pretty cool. So you could kind of like click, build a trivia game. We did trivia at the beginning of the pandemic, you know, like a lot of teams did. That would have made life a lot easier. They've all got a timer. Yes. For each one of these, I'd have to click show on the leaderboard. So yeah, whatever. Okay, we'll save that. That's cool. I want to see what their rating looks like, because this is how I would have imagined Poly would have shown on the screen, right? Is like 5 or 10 stars, and then you could click on them. So there's a max value of 10. How much do you love this meeting? And then, oh, you can add an image. That's kind of cool. Add a description, and then what's this search? I don't know what that does. Okay, let's save that one. We'll do the same thing. So what happens if I click on that? Okay, so that comes up with like your current polls, or you could go back into like the templates. So it's like, well, do you want to reuse something? I guess that's the template button. Okay, well, let's get ready to launch this. So here's the settings for the event. Remember, it created an event tied to this meeting with Z632. Here's the link, so you could like copy that and put it in the chat if you wanted to. Where are you at? I'm in Kansas City, so it didn't pick my time. That's kind of interesting. This VM is set to Central Time too, so whatever. Okay, so you can share access, but that's a pro feature. So you can let other people manage the event too, but you got to pay for that. And then you can have single rooms or multiple rooms. That's interesting. So it's got its own breakout room functionality. Again, that's going to be paid because it's grayed out. Let's visit the pricing. Let's see what the cost is for Slido. Pricing. So you got up to 100 participants in your event, and you got 3 polls per event. So I can't add more than 3 items. I guess a poll would be that quiz though. I had a multi-question quiz. That was one poll. And then unlimited Q&A. Huh. Which is interesting because when I went to the Q&A in there, it was grayed out and said that was a premium feature. That's interesting. You can have up to 200 people for $9 a month. Unlimited polls. Basic privacy options. So like, do you have no privacy and unless you pay for it? That's kind of interesting. Go up to 1,000. Now you get moderated questions. That's probably, I imagine that over here. Let's look at these. So, okay, so you got to pay to not have it like visible in search and to require people to log in. This does say single sign-on though, Daryl, if you're watching still. So this one has SSO. Audience Q&A, live polls, ideas. Let's turn that on and allow downvotes. Why not? And then agenda. You can add an agenda for a price. and then branding, themes, and stuff like that. So what's interesting though is this audience Q&A, this was upgrade. So I imagine that you got to pay $39 a month here in order to get that tab to light up, because that's the moderated Q&A. So you're not going to get that for free. You're gonna have to pay for that. And then there's Enterprise for $200. Enterprise is where you get SSO. So yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, then they got all the checkboxes. All right, cool. Let's rejoin it. And now we've got the S button right here at the top. We're gonna open up Slido. I'm curious to see as we get through all these apps, is this gonna like spill over in some way when you have like 15 buttons there? Okay, so here's the thing. We got the Q&A, which you got to upgrade to do it, but that's where your questions would be, kind of like in a Teams live event, right? You got your Q&A there, and you got what's come in, so you can publish the question. This is the ones that are live, and then you hit the delete button, they go to the deleted section. It's in the same order even as what a Teams live event shows, so that's pretty cool. This would be nice in a Teams live event if you could sort. You can already sort by like upvotes, the thumbs up. But with this, if you could like say this has been answered, and then they could just show like unanswered questions or something, that would be cool. When we were doing Ignite, the Ask the Experts panels, and like things were just flying in, but we had like 10 MVPs who were all answering questions. That'd be cool if like it didn't have a response, if there was a short list that was filtered out. There's the ideas. So you can create a topic like where should we go for our next retreat? Create a topic out there, and then people can add ideas to it. So that's pretty rad. Okay, so I guess I'm gonna hit the play button to launch a poll. So which office are you joining from? That did not pop up anything in here. I've got deactivate, I've got lock voting, so no more voting is available. Hide results, and then the next poll. Okay, so it's going to show results by default. If I click on this, the results are hidden at that point. So on the attendee side, what does it look like? I've got Slido. Okay, so I'm in the meeting, and now I've got, it doesn't pop up in the middle like a Teams meeting poll does, like a Microsoft form, but it comes over here on the side. We'll say like Bangalore for this one. And then over here, so somebody entered in Bangalore, there's a response. One response has come in. I can delete it with a little like trash can right there. But as the organizer, I can't vote. So that's kind of interesting. It doesn't come up for me to be able to contribute to this. That's good to know. All right, let's do the next one. So start quiz. Okay, so this one was a quiz. Now it's got answers. Over on the attendee, I didn't click anything extra. Now I've got a quiz to take. So I'll do this. I'd say John, and I join it. Say switch, send. Oh, there's that timer. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see what happens. Okay, it took my answer that I put in there. Voting has closed. So the timer ran out. Show the correct answer. Now over here, oh, cool. So the organizer, the time runs out. The answer was PS5, and then it lights up for everybody. And it didn't take my vote. Even though I selected something, it didn't just auto vote with that. So that's cool. So I can display the leaderboard that way. You have not participated. Okay. Okay, so the next question. In the same quiz, now we're getting into trivia. And it's got the timer right there. So which famous boxer striking the gong? Dude, I don't know. Freddie Mills? Hit send. It sent it. Man, this is kind of like putting Kahoot inside of a meeting. That's pretty sweet. Okay, so 100 people voted for, or 100% voted for Freddie Mills. They're coming in. Okay, it is locked because the timer ran out. Time to show the correct answer. So as the organizer, you're basically clicking the next arrow to go to the next stage in your event. It's kind of cool. So there we go. I showed that, and it highlighted that I was wrong. So sorry, that's incorrect. Interesting. And there's no leaderboard here, so I didn't show the leaderboard. I just went to the next question. So, oh, that was Frankenstein, right? Mary Shelley. You guys are gonna see like how bad I am at trivia. There's that. Okay, so I'd locked it 3 seconds early. So that's kind of interesting. Okay, show the correct answer is the next stage. Aha, I got it right. Cool. So now this one I checked the box for show leaderboard. So the next step is to show the leaderboard. John got 1 out of 2 points, 27 seconds. So now you get, hey, you're currently first. So you get to see like the leaderboard of like who's up. Dang, for like basic Kahoot stuff, at least what I've seen, this is pretty dang close to being as cool. And you don't have to go to a separate place out of your Teams meeting. How many simoleons? Dude, I don't know. I'm just gonna randomly answer these. So you can see that in real time. Like it's pretty responsive as I vote and then I switch over to the other window. It's pretty good. That's cool. Okay, so I'm still in first place, but I only got 1 answer right. We're just gonna keep running through this. How many countries share a border with Luxembourg? Oh man, the people in Europe are gonna think I'm stupid because I have no idea. I know it's in Europe, but I don't know how many countries border it. I'm gonna guess that was wrong. Oh no, it was right. Okay, that was a total guess. So the leaderboard now 2 out of 4. And then I see, yeah, 2 out of 4. I've spent 53 seconds voting. Okay, we're still in the poll. I shouldn't have done so many questions. Do that. I'll lock the voting and go next. I mean, you guys get what the poll looks like. So you're kind of stepping your way through. Okay, that's the end of the quiz. So now under polls, there's no active polls here. So even though the game is over, I don't like because I ended that as the organizer, the game doesn't show anymore. I lost the leaderboard and all that stuff. So that's good to know. Okay, that's pretty cool. All right, let's launch the rating poll, which is how much do you love this meeting? This is what I would have kind of expected out of Poly, where it was like a list of stars, and you could say like, 8 out of 10, 3 out of 10, rather than like radio boxes. So. Okay, yeah, so you see the scores come in at the timing, deactivate or lock. So if I lock it, unlock voting. I guess I have to deactivate it. Okay, and then it would go to the next thing. So now the poll disappeared from the attendee view. Yeah, there's all that. I have nothing left to launch. Let's relaunch this one. So Poly did not let you relaunch a poll. Slido lets you relaunch it, and then I can change my answer like that and hit send. And then over here, that changed over to Malvern. Okay, cool. We'll deactivate that. Let's check out the ideas. So under the ideas tab, there's no ideas available. So again, I have to hit the play button to throw that out there. And then they get, where should we go for our next retreat? Hawaii. I hit send. And John has said this. Now there's up votes and down votes. So I guess everybody sees what the idea was put out there and they can vote for it, which is pretty cool. So there's the live answers that are coming in. Wonder what this is. Mouse over it. Is that like highlighted or something? I don't know what that arrow does. I guess I can archive the idea too. Oh, starred. No, that doesn't star it or anything. Okay, so I can go into it, I can type and reply. That sounds great. How do I send it? Oh, that's funny. So the little send icon is like slightly over to the side too far because of how it rendered inside of Teams. The moderator says that sounds great. So you don't see the name of the moderator, just like in a Teams live event. That's good to know. Okay, and then yeah, I can star that answer, and how does that look in this UI? Okay, so that doesn't show to the attendee at all, like what ideas were starred. Okay. Interesting. All right, so I can't scroll sideways, so I'm just going to close and reopen Slido. I think we're done looking at this one. So, yeah, we got an idea. We went through all the polls, but there's no more polls to launch. And then Q&A, you got to pay for premium for that. Although, well, so I can ask a question. It's just not moderated, I guess. So I'm still on the free version, and I can upvote it. I can't click and answer the question as a moderator, so that's interesting. Edit my profile. Okay. All right, cool. So we've looked at Q&A, ideas, and polls. It looks like Q&A probably would have a lot more to it if you were a premium subscriber. Any comments about anything? If you guys have seen other, other apps, or you guys have used Slido or something, let me know. Thanks a lot, Jay Shy from Chicago. Really appreciate you hanging out and joining me today, as well as watching my channel. Let me know if there's like ever any videos that would help you out in the future as well for learning Microsoft Teams. All right, let's go to the next app here. There's the ideas. Okay, so after the meeting is over, you've got the Q&A that's captured. So there's the Q&A. You just don't get moderation. And then you get the ideas. So you did this exercise, right, where you did like, hey, where do you want to go for the next retreat? You captured those questions. The moderator can get back to those questions or back to those ideas. That's pretty cool. I could see where that would be really effective in a meeting. Then the analytics, you got 2 participants, engagement score, poll results. So there's all the results and all that cool stuff. What does infographics look like? Oh, an interaction report. Oh, dang. So yeah, you could like take this and send it up to the executives or something. The exec sponsor. Be like, yeah, look how engaged our people were. These ideas were discussed, and here's what people talked about. It's kind of cool. Okay, let's go to the next thing. So we've done Forms, Slido, Poly, xMatters. So we use xMatters at my organization for our incident management, paging out people who are on call. I don't think that this is, I'm not gonna be able to test this one out. I don't want to tie my corporate account to xMatters. We'll have to learn a little bit more about what that's gonna do. But yeah, it looks like it's a hard stop. You got to connect to your xMatters first. But we can look at it a little bit here. So it allows you to search for on-call groups in xMatters. Morris and Spencer from my team, if you guys are watching this, we might have to check this out with Cerner's xMatters and see if it works with our environment. Because I could see where like our incident response people, they could really use something where like if xMatters was right there, so that in the Teams window you could be like, oh, we need the networking on call. click xMatters, type in like the networking team, and that group, have it come up so that you could, page out that team. That could be pretty sweet. It needs the person's email address so they can identify the team and organization name. This is the part that concerns me about a lot of these apps. Data may be sent to a third-party service. I mean, third-party to xMatters or third-party to Microsoft? You know, because xMatters is third-party, but like, is xMatters also going to share the information? Like, that's not cool. Here's a little bit of what it looks like. So somebody like sends you a message in xMatters, it comes from Teams, you know, and you could say like, okay, join, or you can escalate it up to somebody else in the chain. Here's what it looks like to look up somebody. So find database, and it would come up with like, all right, here's the database team, on call, cross-functional group, and then you hit invite. I would imagine that then that would send something to their phone that says, hey, you're getting paged, and then you could jump right into the meeting. Here's what, if you add an incident tab to a chat or a meeting, you select xMatters, and that spins up the bot. Then yeah, you connect it up. You have to enter your host name. So this is where we would get into like doing it for my actual company. We'll have to really test this in real life. Reach out to the xMatters team and make sure that like, are they even looking at this? So then if somebody else adds the tab, you can view it as long as you have access to that incident. So I imagine, yeah, you just click the xMatters button in the top of the meeting and then get in there. But yeah, that's a hard stop that I can't like go set up an xMatters account with Megan Bowen's information. We'll skip that one. Let's go to Vvox, see what that does. Anonymous live polls. See, there's I think all of these little startups, you know, that are doing stuff, I think they're going to be, starting out in polls all the time. So here's another polls and survey one. This is going to be super boring if it's like 80% polls. Gather. Okay, so you have to sign up for another account, Vvox, which we had to do that for Megan Bowen earlier for Slido, even though Slido was pretty cool. That was really impressive in my opinion. Megan Bowen, so we're going to get her email. We're going to get her password. Whatever. Now I'll just blow this tenant away at the end of this live event since I threw the password up there. Oh, it's making me do everything required. Megan Bowen at Contoso. She's the CEO. I don't know that I want to take contoso.vvox from somebody else. Put in something fake. So United States. All right, let's see what this looks like. So that takes you to that dashboard where you'd say testing and then create this. There's that code. So 133599. It's not as easy as just copying it. So you gotta highlight it, copy it, and then over in Teams, now we can connect it to this meeting. Great. 133599-633. Okay, so that's now I've got an event or a meeting. Session pause, waiting for the host to start. Okay, so yeah, you're living out of like the browser for this. to start the session. What is this looking like for the attendee? They don't see any buttons yet up here. Over in here, though, now anonymous. So let's click on this little button at the top. There's questions. What is this? Okay, what does that look like over here? You got, oh, so there's like this little presentation thing. You can throw that up on a screen and have that like on a projector maybe. Okay, so you haven't created any polls. Man, this is a little bit more friction than the other apps, you know, because like I like it's really kind of transformative to have it all in Teams, you know, and just like do it in Teams. Doing it here is kind of weird. Or it's just a little bit, you know, like jarring to have to do it somewhere else, you know. Vanilla and chocolate. So you can allow multiple selections here. Not as intuitive, it feels like, going through this app. There's the Q&A. There's the data. So there's one person in this meeting right now. Or polls and numbers. Yeah, one participant. But I haven't voted on anything yet. There's the settings. There's where you get into like the pricing for moderation. Let's see how much that costs. So in US dollars, this is $50. You can have up to 500 for free. Multiple choice. You can't have text polls, so like no like word clouds or grabbing text in. Can't have ratings or numeric, or you can have word clouds. Okay. So that you could do a word cloud. Can't do a survey, but you can have the Q&A. You can present the view like on a projector. Analytics. Get email support, but you can't export anything. You can't moderate. There's quite a few options here, but you lose, you know, lots of it for not paying. And then, yeah, $50 a month billed annually, or $245 one-time fee. That's interesting. Okay. So back over here, VVox. I'm still not seeing any polls in here. Maybe I've reached the limit on what can be shown in a meeting. No surveys are active. Oh, maybe I need to go back to the website, activate that survey. Then maybe it will show up on the thing. So let's go back to polls, and we're going to open the poll. What's your favorite ice cream? And then I've got this little thing I can present full screen. So that's where you would show it on like a projector. Hey, join us at this ID. You could also share your screen, right, in the Teams meeting if you're all remote. Over here, though, yeah, I still don't have anything that popped up on my screen to see it. Yeah, I don't see it even as the organizer in there. But the poll is open here on the VBox thing. Huh, how do I even delete these? So this is interesting. In a Teams meeting, I can't right click and uninstall that application apparently from the meeting. I can't remove it because normally you would just right click and remove that tab from like a channel or something, but it's not available that way. That's interesting. Okay, well, I feel like that app is not not very well baked out. Let's try adding another app just to see if another button pops up. Give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe I've run out of slots in the Teams meeting to have apps. So Wakelet, let's get out of this and look at what it's going to do for us. So Wakelet says explore Wakelet. I've heard this name before, but I don't know what it does. Oh yeah, I've seen that. So you're building I don't know, it feels like a little bit like Sway, maybe. You know, where it's like a self-paced presentation, web-based thing. Save this collection. Oh, so it's a collection of links and information. Okay. Okay, so you can create a Wakelet. Let's connect with Microsoft, see how it goes. You know, actually, now that I've realized that I've seen this on Twitter before. People creating Wakelets and then creating Wakelets and then like sharing them on Twitter. So I've seen that before. I probably should copy that. I wonder if Teams is going to ask about it. Say other. Okay, so now you're creating a collection. You're adding links from around the internet to build your. Here's my page about like all this research that I've done on this topic. You know, maybe I should look at Wakelet like for real sometime. Say like, you know, here's resources about live events in Microsoft Teams or something like that. Might be kind of interesting to try out. On the Teams side, you've got a public URL. So I'm just, rather than creating a Wakelet for the first time, let's just grab one. Like here's some miscellaneous quotes. We're gonna hit save. And that renders the page. This feels a little bit like Pinterest. It's just like all these pictures. So it just renders the page in the meeting, kind of like whenever you like attach a slide deck or you attach an Excel spreadsheet to the meeting. On here, I'm not seeing a button for Wakelet. So let's do this. Let's make a new meeting because I have a feeling maybe I ran out of spots and I'm not seeing any more buttons. So let's get out of the meeting. Let's do another meet now. Send it back to myself and see if Wakelet, we'll pick up for Wakelet. See if that does anything for us. So we're back. We don't have any new buttons anymore. But with this new meeting, you'll see that like, I don't see it in my list of chats. So if I go in here, say, hey, I can't add the new meetings from here. But now that I've got a chat, this is my little meet now. Now I can start adding apps to the meeting. We're going to start with Wakelet, add that, and paste in that URL. So now we're back to where we were, where we've got that page, quotes, miscellaneous. And okay, so I ran out of spots. You know, I got 3 icons up there, and then I couldn't add any more. So for Wakelet, now it's just got like a Teams friendly rendered version of that website. So since it can't render wide because you know it's not a desktop application, it squeezed it down. This is probably like the phone rendering of this website. Now I'm curious then, what about that Vvox? Let's give Vvox another chance and see if it shows up as an app. Every like 3rd app, I'm going to have to start a new meeting to test these out. So Vvox, we've got this meeting ID right here. Copy that. Oh yeah, so I gotta type it. 599633. Save that. And now VVox is a tab. It's still asking what my favorite ice cream is. And in the meeting, okay, so that's what it was. I had run out of space. So here's something that we've learned. You can only have 3 meeting apps that you've added to a meeting, and then they won't show up as icons anymore. The 4th app and beyond don't show up as icons. They don't keep pushing those icons to the left. So VVox, now this looks a little bit better. This looks a little bit more, rendered. So you got that. I can change my vote, go back and forth. Polls open. I can ask a question. Okay, this works better now. I can send it where Slido, that little send paper airplane was like off the screen because it like didn't render. It rendered too wide. So this loaded a little bit better. And then there's a poll open, so I can hit that little arrow to slide that back up and get back to the poll. Get information about it. And I didn't have to log into anything. Like with Poly, that made me attach an account first. I had to give it some information. At least with this, it's still anonymous. Same with Slido, it was anonymous whenever I was using just a free account. Only the organizer had to sign up for the Slido thing. And then, operate within the limits of the free account. Okay. Cool, so that's pretty basic still, but it does render inside the Teams meeting. Same with Wakelet. That also renders inside the Teams meeting, but it just is, it looks like just a mobile version of that website. If I click on it, it opens up. I would imagine this is how it acts on your phone. You click on it, it opens up full screen. You click again, it goes back to the list of graphics in your collection that you made for Wakelet. Okay, so that's Wakelet, that's VVox. Time for my 3rd one, then we'll have to start a new meeting again. So we've done all of these. Priority matrix. This is one that I checked out personally before and was emailing me like crazy. This was sending me a lot of emails about like, here's your meeting updates for the day, and hey, here's like a guide to priority matrix and stuff. So this is a lot of project management stuff, like focusing in meetings, getting more stuff done in your meetings. This is kind of what that looks like. This is the dashboard for it, or like what the web interface looks like. Probably if you add it as a tab in Microsoft Teams, you got a list of your meetings, and then you can add like the meeting notes and files and stuff like that. So this looks like it can get pretty deep, I think, priority matrix. Let's add it, just explore around. All right, so priority matrix is getting installed. We need to ask for permission. We'll do. All right, so for Megan's account, this is going to view her basic information. So it's going to see her name, picture, username. And then this is going to ask for Megan's, it's going to maintain that access to that data. So even when you're not using it, it's still going to know who you are, what your profile is, stuff like that. So we're going to accept that. All right, let's sign into it and see what happens. So it's going to use my Microsoft account. So there we go. We're going to consent to that again. Oh, now it's, see, I went too fast. Now it's going to look at my task list. It's going to look at my files that I have access to, my calendars. This is where like you got to think about that, right? Okay, and then it knows other people in my organization. So now I can like invite them to this priority matrix thing. I'm going to skip that. And this is going to add an agenda. So it's wanting to name the tab agenda. I kind of wish more more apps would do that here, where you could like customize the name of the tab. That's very native to the Teams experience, right? In channels, you can name the tab whatever you want. I wish more of the apps would let you name the tabs. So we got that. Which meeting do you want to prepare for? So this read my calendar, and it looked at all the meetings that are going on. So this is an ad hoc meet now meeting, so that did not show up. But here's that meeting that I booked called testing meeting apps. So I guess you'd match it with the meeting that this particular meeting. And then it would show up with, okay, let's build an agenda. So super important thing. So we're going to discuss a super important thing. Megan is going to do that. And then we're going to discuss less important thing. And if I click on that, okay, so it's showing everybody in the entire company. So this is everybody in Contoso. Adele was invited to this, so we'll have Adele own that thing. It would be interesting if it showed like just who was invited to this meeting. You know, I'm curious though. Discuss least important thing. I'm curious if the person is not in this meeting or attached to this meeting and you add them, is it going to invite them to the meeting? So I'll hit invite somebody else and hit add. Creating. Added the item and it assigned it to that person. And then you can search for items. So basically I've built an agenda for this particular meeting. When I click on it again, it just loads up. It just rendered a web page. Wait, where's the rest of those items? I lost 2 out of the 3 important agenda items. That's kind of not great. So now I'm curious, if I go back to my calendar, did that invite Alex to the meeting because I had assigned him something? Testing meeting apps, let's go in here, and it did not. So even though Alex has something assigned to him from this third-party app, it did not add him to the meeting to say, hey, we're going to discuss this and you're on the hook for it. So that's something to be aware of with Priority Matrix. It does not invite the person to the meeting, apparently. And yeah, I guess I lost those other items. So we're going to do this again. Least important thing, Alex. So now it knows that I've done it. I wonder if it sent an invite to Alex to Priority Matrix. I'm guessing that's probably what it did. It probably invited him to this service. And then if he joins that service, then now he can contribute to that. Let's take a look at what it looks like in the meeting. So now I've got this new little grid icon, these like 4 little rectangles. Click on that, that's going to load up Priority Matrix, and then there's my agenda. So the meeting here is this. We're going to click plus to add a new item and assign that to somebody. And it would be kind of cool if it, like do the thing. It'd be kind of cool if it like called that person in, if you were doing it from this meeting. So yeah, it's basically just to check them off. Click on this and hit open. What does that look like? Okay, so there's more to this item than just it being a list of checkboxes. You got who the owner is. You can add another person to it. They can provide status updates and say how far they are along. They can give it a due date. They can tag it with something, add a link to it, add some notes, updates, add some files and some URLs for that particular item that we're going to discuss, kind of chat about it. Click the plus, I can attach files. So there's like where you update the status, the things. If I click on this, I can drag this up and say we're 35% done. Oh, that was weird. Okay, so you click off of it and then it updates. Click the checkbox, it goes to 100%. You can add a little icon to it. You can flag it as like very important. Copy a link, make it public, move it to a project, version control. So this feels a little bit like what a native app for Planner would probably turn into, right? If you're doing Microsoft Planner and you got like all the items, maybe you'd be able to, it'd be really cool if you could like add cards or something, you know, to the meeting. Say like, we're going to discuss these items and it shows all your boards and you like, I want to discuss this one and that one and this one, and have those kind of pull into the meeting so that you could like update the progress on them and they would write back to that planner card. That would be super cool in the native Microsoft realm. Okay, so there's more to it than just being a checkbox, but basically I can do some rich text formatting and stuff like that to create these items. And I can copy it. So I guess I just copied a link to the item. Okay, so priority matrix, it's a fancy agenda is what it looks like. And the agenda items actually have some meat behind them where you can like set due dates and stuff like that. I think if you went all in on priority matrix, that's where you'd be. This would be a valuable app for you. I wonder what the pricing is on this one. Let's see what if we missed that. Priority matrix, click on this. Oh, that added as a proper tab. See, I can right click on it now. I can remove it. That's different than being just like the meeting apps where I couldn't right click and remove those other meeting apps. This is made by Appfluence. Priority matrix. Here's pricing. Let's see how much this guy runs. So I guess there is no free option. So I guess what I'm doing now, it's probably gonna like say, oh, you're done. Time ran out. Minimum, you can pay $5 a month, get access to the apps, get an Outlook add-in, a Teams add-in, have up to 25 projects, 5 gigs of storage, keep things for a year, one-on-one view. Okay. But you don't get like Gantt charts and stuff like that. Single sign-on, you can do single sign-on all the way across, which I guess that was, it knew I was Microsoft, so it clicked on the Microsoft account and went in. Okay, so yeah, it's $5 a month, $12 a month, or $24 a month for that priority matrix. All right, we've done 3 of these. Let's leave it and start a new one and do 3 more. So we're gonna meet now. Oh, we got San Francisco in. Hey man, how's it going? So Kaleem works for Microsoft on the Yammer product group. He works on the question and answer features. So thanks for watching, man. I appreciate you coming in and hanging out. We've gone through lots of these apps so far in Teams meetings. We're just kind of checking them all out, seeing what they do. So I've done this meet now. We're going to go back in. If you remember, there's a little bit of friction where like I've got to send a chat message first. Then I can get back to it here and hit the plus button. Now I can add meetings. So that's only if you're doing the meet now option. If you're doing a scheduled meeting, you can just go from the calendar and add an app. But if you're doing meet now, there's a few more steps to add an app to a meeting. Okay, so we've done Forms, Slido, Poly, Vvox, Wakelet, Priority Matrix. The next one is Buncee. Buncee. Yeah, I think this is a whiteboarding type of tool, if I remember right. I've heard about this. So you're going to make conversations fun with new messages, share school announcements, so maybe it's more of an education thing. Creations. Okay. All right, let's see what it does. So I'm an individual. Continue with Microsoft. So Megan Bowen, this is what it's going to look at for her. It's going to sign her in and read her profile, and it's going to maintain access to that data. Okay. So less permissions than what Priority Matrix was asking for. Megan is a business professional, but she doesn't want to be signed up for ideas. Okay, it's a little welcome message. Here's what it is. And now I'm on the website. There's a Teams button right here. So welcome to Microsoft Teams meetings. Scheduled meeting. Interesting. Let's see what happens when I log into the Microsoft side. Again, it's going to read my meetings now. So now it's going to see my calendar stuff. Again, basic profile, maintain access to that profile. Okay, let's do it. We got Ragnar. Yammer's my favorite Microsoft Teams app. Mine too, man. It's so Communities is the only app that's not like default that is in my rail all the time. I added Communities and I made that I've got chats, Teams, Communities, and then my calendar. So I kind of go from like that inner loop out in one-on-one messages, my team, my core people that I know and work with, Communities, the people that I share common interest with in Yammer. That's how I've organized my rail. Okay, so this wants to create a meeting. I don't think I want to mess with that. Let's see what it looks like inside of Teams. So individuals and classrooms. I'm an individual. I'm going to sign in with Microsoft. And enter a URL to a Buncee. Let's see what we can do. I don't really want to make one from scratch because I don't want to like have to learn what this is. Kind of like what Wakelet is. So let's grab the URL from Miss Monty's Magical Celebration Recipes. Okay. Let's paste that in. Oh, you have to own it to add it. Okay, well, that's not gonna work. Oh, and I clicked out of it, so I lost it. Okay. Well, let's make one then. Dang it, I didn't want to have to do that. Okay, so I'm logged in as her. View this. If I go back to the home page, the dashboard, we're going to create one. There it is. All right. Pages and layouts, next. So this is one of those ones where you're gonna be like a user of this platform already, and then you're gonna like bring it into your Microsoft team. It's not gonna be something where like you're gonna do everything in Teams and have started in Teams, use the entire thing in Teams. This is gonna be like we use this app outside. Now we can bring it into Teams. I think there's gonna be a few apps like that. Okay, so I just made a little holiday card here. Maybe I want to share that, share with Buncee users. So now, if I paste that in, please enter a valid URL. Okay. I thought I did. Okay, here's a link. There, okay, cool. So you got to hit share, get the link, and then now it's like, okay, here's what it looks like. Hit save, and then now I've got this happy holidays, add a question. So, okay, so it's going to pop this up, and then I can add a question to it. How many snowmen are there? Oh no. And hit save, view answers. Okay, so you could like add something here and interact with students. And then there's that Buncee icon right there at the top. So they would launch that in the meeting and you would post that. So before we do that, I want to see what it looks like on the user's side. So let's go in here, let's get the meeting details, and let's go join that from my other account. over here. Okay, open Teams meeting, because you want to see what it's going to look like from the student's perspective. Oh, lobby. Admit. There we go. Okay, so I'm in here. If I click Buncee, I probably should see it. Yeah, it's blank. But I need to sign in, so I guess it's gonna like share with me. Okay, whatever. Just like Polly, or it didn't recognize who I was. Just tune in to hang out. Ragnar's trolling. The year yammer again. That fiscal year 2021 or calendar year 2021. Okay, so there's nothing available here until I, as the organizer, post this question with how many snowmen are there in this picture. It came up optional intern answer that you can post. Over on this side is asking for your comment, but it doesn't show me what it is. All it did was chat with me. Let's close it. Let's bring it back up. Okay, so I was expecting that it would open up the picture and then you would answer the question and then it would like submit that, but it seems like that did not work, unfortunately. Post to submit. It shows over here for the organizer, but not for the participant. And actually, it's not letting me type in here. So that came up with the answer, but yeah, it didn't show it for the student before they had a chance to answer. So yeah, that, I don't know, that seems broken. Okay, moving on past that one. Let's check out something else. I worry that like I'm gonna like show somebody's favorite app and they're gonna be like, that's not how it works. Our Bigtincan Hub. All right, so this is gonna prepare and present the best content every meeting. So find content and add it in. Seems a little bit like Wakelet, maybe. So in the meeting, you can search for the content that's in that account, I guess. Log sales content during your CRM. Okay. Let's add it. All right, so they're going to ask for permission, naturally. So this one's going to view Megan's profile again, and it's going to maintain access. Pretty standard. Now it's going to want to sign in and read your profile and your calendars. Because if you remember the screenshots, it said it's going to look at the calendar so you can add content to a specific meeting. We do not support sign up for independent users. Okay, so yeah, we're not going to be able to test this then, unfortunately. So this would be another one that if your company uses this, you would be able to log in with your company's account and use it in your meeting. Okay, we're going to use up our third slot here. QBO. Converse with your data and discover insights in seconds. So that's what it looks like in the full website version. Okay, so this is a business insights application. Okay, so this one might be another one where you got to sign into some other account. Learn how to use boards. So you create a board, you add charts to that board, kind of lay it out so that then you can share it. And yeah, you gotta log into it again. City Bike NYC. I wonder why it like suggested that account. And just like how Priority Matrix was, you can rename it and you can change it because it added like a full-blown app, not necessarily just like a meeting app. In here, we have this, but it's just going to ask me to log in again. Yeah, which we don't have credentials for that. Okay, so that's the third one. So let's get out of that and start a new meeting. Okay, so again, we're gonna say hey, so we can get back in here and check out the next app on the list. Pigeonhole Live. Interactivity, so here's another poll Q&A app. Right here. Kind of speeding through some of these ones that don't allow me to log into anything. So the tab with moderated functions is not supported by the selected meeting type. To add a tab with attendee access only, without question or response moderation, please enter the event passcode for your Pigeonhole. Interesting. So this is another one you got to match it. Kind of like what we had to do with Vvox. We had to match up the thing. Add it before the meeting. So only supported for scheduled meetings. Okay. All right, let's be fair to this app here. And we're going to get out of this meeting. It's got to be a scheduled meeting to use Pigeonhole Live. So let's schedule a meeting. So we're going to make a new meeting, testing again. That's going to be Adele is required, and we're going to send it to her. I kind of like this a little bit better anyway, because now I don't have to chat with myself. I can just add it from the details in the meeting. So Pigeonhole, now hopefully it will work better for me. Okay, so connect to your existing account or sign up. So I don't have anything. So we're going to grab Megan's account info here. Megan. There she is. And here's her password. Sign up. Contoso. And then we got United States. And you got to give it some information here. So that's kind of a little bit, not as easy as just signing in with your Microsoft account. How'd you hear about this? Microsoft Teams. Where else would I have heard about this? All right. I don't care about any of these. Don't sign her up for emails. Okay. So you got a sample Pigeonhole, which is town hall or a conference. Let's do the town hall one. So you can invite your attendees. They can scan a QR code, kind of like Kahoot, kind of like all those other ones. Manage your responses. You can show that on a projector. That's pretty cool. That's what Vvox was doing too, where you could like have a live in-person stage presence as well. Moderator panel. I would imagine like moderated Q&A, that would be pretty interesting to be able to have. We want to ask management questions. Oh, okay, so that's what it looks like on the screen that you would throw up there. Okay. Well, let's see what it looks like in Teams here real quick. Now I'm going to connect Megan's account because she signed up. password. Logging in. Okay, so she has a town hall. There's that one that we were looking at. All right, so this is that same page, like you're at your admin panel now. What does this look like in the actual meeting itself? Let's join it. So there's the little pigeon icon. That's cool. And this is going to render in the sidebar. There you go. So you're anonymous. Testing mode. I got 15 days before I'd have to like actually sign up for something. So you can throw these questions out there. It looks like they're all live now. So let's send this to my other account and see what it looks like for the attendee. Open in the app and join it. Oh, meeting lobby. Dang it, forgot that again. Okay. All right, there's the meeting lobby, and I am in. So if I click Pigeonhole as an attendee, I see everything. Actually, it's showing me the admin panel. So manage and view attendee responses. Oh, so like, I guess this already has a bunch of sample answers in it. Or wait, no, this is my Dell laptop. And on that one, it didn't load anything up. On here, would I launch the poll to push it out there? Poll opens from December 26th. So it's scheduled? Oh, it finally loaded. So it took a little while. So this is kind of like the other poll apps. You've got these first couple. You can do the next answer. So I already did that one. Enter the Q&A. So this is where then I'd be like, you know, when's lunch? I could add tags and stuff and ask that question optionally. And then over here on the admin side, did she get alerted? She did not. So the Q&A is kind of like its own thing then, isn't it? And then I could say never comment on it. People can comment on other people's questions and stuff. It's pretty advanced, seems pretty deep to get into, but yeah, so it looks like you're managing or like actually executing this, but then you're managing it back over here. And that's also where then you would like be able to open up a projector panel, throw that on the projector, have this on another screen so that you could start making your next like next panel that you're going to push out to the meeting. But it didn't like alert on the middle of the screen like the Microsoft Forms ones did. It didn't like pop up like, hey, something new is happening in Pigeonhole. Okay, it's another polling app. Lucid Agreements. Let's try that one. I don't think I could see this one like requiring an account up front that like, you know, it's like already has to be set up. So with this one, automatically transcribe meetings and create tasks in management software. This is kind of interesting. We've been seeing like here and there where people add these like bots that will listen and transcribe the meeting. It does these beeps and like this weird bot pops into the meeting. I wonder if that's what this kind of is going to behave like. It's going to add like a listening bot to the meeting. So click save to add it to your meeting. Okay. Start your meeting, and then so there's nothing to configure in the tab itself. It all happens in the meeting right here. There's that Lucid thing. And then you got your tasks, your meeting minutes, transcript. So, okay, so it's not going to start transcribing and recognizing tasks unless you have a subscription. So this is probably going to not do anything then. Let's see how much this would have cost. Okay, so small business, $150 for 100 employees, 50 meetings a month. Can't imagine 100 employees are having 50 meetings total a month. That is not accurate. Maybe 50 meetings per person. You get transcription, you get to integrate with Jira and create tasks and summaries and stuff like that. $700 gives you 100 to 250 employees, and then 6,500. If you want to pay annually, 1,650, 7,700, and 71,500. That gives you 3,000 meetings per month for 1,000 employees. Get into Jira and Azure DevOps in the future. It's not available yet. Your own machine learning engine, trained company data, so just for your company. Interesting. This sounds like what would be the promise of Microsoft Graph, right? Of the AI and ML in Microsoft itself, to like, we're going to listen to your meeting inside of the Microsoft enclave that you already are subscribed. You already have a business agreement with Microsoft, and it's going to recognize like people that are mentioned. The stuff that we saw at Build like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Where it was like, it recognized who walked into the room, and a woman was speaking Chinese, but it was transcribing it in English because it recognized what language she was speaking. That's kind of the promise of what we've seen for like a couple years now. It sounds like this is the actuality of that, but it would be much preferred, especially for larger organizations, to just have this in, inside of Teams like natively for Microsoft. So you start your meeting with this app, and then you open it up and it starts transcribing. So there's that like Serena says, sure thing, I can do that tomorrow. Crystal says maybe somebody, ask, I don't know how to pronounce that name. What is the latest date, before Ignite? So then it recognizes that that like this person said they were going to do something in the course of the meeting. So it recognized, oh, sure thing, I can do that tomorrow. Well, are you going to do it in Jira? Are you going to do it in Microsoft To Do, Microsoft Lists, maybe, with the capital L? Or do you want to include that in the summary? Like, here's the meeting recap. It's pretty cool. It sounds a little bit manual. I wonder if it highlights that to mark that, like, hey, we think that this is an action item. Okay, that seems cool. I would hope that we see a native demo from Microsoft of some technology like this in the future. But today, looks like you can do it with Lucid Agreements if you sign up for a subscription to start transcribing. Okay, moving on. Let's check out the next app. So we've done all this top row, done all this other row. This one's definitely going to be a hard stop. So HireVue. This is an HR interviewing app. I know for sure this is going to require to sign in, but it looks like what you'll be able to do is create the interview questions, have those in the sidebar for the person who's running this interview, running this meeting. Pretty sure if I add it here, it's going to require me to log in and not let me go anywhere else. Okay, so view the basic profile, maintain access. That's the same type of permissions that all these have asked for. And we're going to sign in. Authenticate. So in order to use this app, you need to have an active subscription. This is going to come up saying like, oh, I don't recognize your account in HireVue. Yeah, it has like an API thing. So let's try that again. I wanted to do this like see it in action type of thing. Let's click on Microsoft Teams. I want to, it said see it in action, but so December 4th, this is probably the announcement of the app in Microsoft Teams. So, oh my gosh, that little chat bot is super annoying on their website. So not just another Teams meeting, it's a virtual interview. I want to see pictures of it though. So here's some of the features. You could build the structure for your interview in the Teams meeting. It gives you some predefined questions automatically into the meeting request, turns that into an interview, so you can look at the questions and ask them on the screen there, which is pretty cool. That's pretty nice to have that instead of having a separate window with like your interview guide as an interviewer. Per question, rating and ranking. So as you go through the questions, whenever the person answers the question, you can rate that response, and it rolls up into that whole job candidate that you're interviewing. The ability to capture notes, so you can do that. That's for each team member has their own set of notes that they can do. Then at the end of it, you get that final recommendation. Thumbs up, thumbs down. They would work for our company, or they're not a good match type of situation. So that seems like that would really streamline a lot of like HR processes of like, we're all going to do these interviews. Here's your interview packet. Go through, you write your notes. So by doing it on screen, I guess you would be sitting there typing, rather than like writing on a piece of paper if you had like a physical packet. But you might not look as distracted if you're taking notes and things like that. But having all that digitally there means that you can, then submit that to the hiring team, and then HR can look through everybody's interview packets and, see the recommendations, see the notes that they took during the interview, things like that. I would imagine this application, you'd have a rigid business agreement with them for like the data and things like that. Otherwise, you'd be maybe doing these packets on paper, right? Or like shredding them at the end after the decision is made, something. But that sounds pretty cool. It sounds pretty powerful, actually, to have like that be an asset, or have that be a I guess asset, like out of the meeting. This is the recommendation. This is the notes. It's all packaged up as like, this is the result of this interview, and it's tied to that meeting. That's pretty cool. I just can't check it out because I don't have a tenant for HireVue. So we've done those three. What else do we got here? Decisions, Teamflect, Monday.com, Asana, and Range. Let's do decisions. This one's going to do an agenda. Manage your agenda without leaving Microsoft Teams. So notify attendees. Okay, so you add an agenda. It's going to like put it in the chat. The list of things. We've seen this in a Microsoft like marketing video a while back on YouTube, where it was like showing the future of meetings. They were adding like a table called a meeting agenda, and everybody could see it. That looks like what that was in that YouTube video. The details here, we've got details of the meeting. There's some like speakers, who's going to do what. So that's one agenda item though. All right, let's add it. Let's see how far we can get. Yes, I want to call it the agenda. And let's get started. So, it also ties into Outlook, it looks like. You're almost there. Oh, dang it. Needs to enable decisions. Let's see how in depth this is, because I've got the tenant admin for this Contoso tenant. Oh, it's an Azure AD app. Okay, so they're going to have to deploy this. Okay, let's see what we can do here. So we're going to do new private window. We're going to see what it wants to do in Azure. Copy the admin credentials to the tenant. Okay, so this is going to have full access to the calendar. That's scary. Going to read and write chat messages. That's pretty intense. Read all the files that these are going to access. Have full access to the user's files. Write to all groups. Read all the mailbox settings. Send mail as the user. Write OneNote notebooks. Create, read, and update tasks. Read their profile, read all users' basic profiles, and read directory data. Let's do it. let's accept that. Application permissions granted. Megan, you have the easiest going IT staff ever. Now I wonder if it's going to load up yet. Okay. She can use decisions. All right, so Megan's going to go in here, add an agenda. So, talked about the important thing. All right, what are we going to do? We got files that we can add. That's cool. This is just for discussion. We're going to spend 10 minutes doing it. I kind of like this UI. This is pretty cool. Click on that. Megan's going to do it. So this is a little bit more, it's integrated, right? Because it was an Azure AD app that like now it's reading the calendar. It knows who has been invited to this meeting. So Adele, she's going to be responsible for this. She's a presenter. Okay, we're going to save that. It's going to be like decide what's for lunch. We're going to hit add there. Megan's going to do this because she's in charge of that. She's a presenter or a contributor. Okay. We're going to spend 10 minutes doing that. And that's a decision. Hit save. We got a couple agenda items. I'm the only one who can see this agenda. Or I can share it with everybody. That's kind of interesting. Share that with the whole company. So I've shared that with Contoso. Click on this. There's settings. This app. This is a pretty, app feeling app. Like it feels like there's a lot here. I can share this agenda that posted to the meeting chat. So you build your agenda. Now you're ready to share it. It just added it to the chat. So everybody who's in the meeting, even though it's scheduled in the future, they get this chat message where they can click on the agenda and then they can see what the agenda is. I also apparently posted that to Contoso General. Doesn't look like I did, though. So I shared it with them, but it didn't add it over to, it didn't alert anybody, so that's good. Then you can add meeting minutes and stuff like that. Let's see what it looks like in the meeting itself. So over here, we got decisions, the D right here. The agenda comes up, and we got two things that we're going to talk about. And we're going to take some meeting minutes. Word. So create a Word template or create a shared OneNote minutes. I would imagine a lot of project managers would want to do the OneNote one. Okay, where do you want it to be? Just say shared notes. What's your section going to be? I want the agenda items. I want the description. I want the actions and decisions. Who didn't show up? Hit create. What is this going to look like? Is it going to try to squeeze it in this window, or is it going to open up a new window for open in OneNote? Okay, let's open in OneNote online. Okay, this is feeling like something that somebody would, would actually use, like a project manager. That I could see this like making their life easier. Okay, yeah, so they get this template here in OneNote. They picked what OneNote notebook it went to. And they've got who was there and who wasn't there. Start your meeting minutes, and then they can sit here in OneNote and just hammer away at all these minutes and decide that. No decisions were recorded for this meeting. Okay, let's stop there. Let's say that we're in the meeting. We're going to discuss the important thing. So we click on that to start it. That's for discussion. You got 2 minutes left to discuss this thing. There's no vote going on, probably because it's not for decision, it's for discussion. We're going to talk about it. Okay, we're done talking about that. Let's go to the next thing down here, which is decide what's for lunch. Okay, so this is for decision. There's no voting going on. If I go back, though, open in web, open minutes, open in web. Let's see what that does. So there's a task. You could add a task to this, decide what's for lunch. Argue for a while. And so you're adding a task, and then you're going to argue for a while, and then you're going to, just go to Chipotle, because that's what you always do. Okay, we're going to do that. You can assign it, you can give it a due date, stuff like that. So we got that. That is an Excel spreadsheet, so that's pretty integrated. The decisions, there's no decisions found. Learn how to record decisions. How do we do that? So we created a meeting, we added an agenda, we notified everybody, which was the meeting chat thing, I think. You can take notes. You could run a meeting. So when you're running the meeting, create meeting notes. We did that. Sharing tasks and decisions with OneNote. I could see that being a pretty powerful thing. So write your task and decisions in OneNote. While taking meeting minutes, you can write out a task and decisions using this pattern. Decision, decision, task, what it was, who, and then what date. Or note, additional synonyms are supported. Due to limitations, in OneNote, avoid using line breaks. So don't hit enter when you're typing decisions. So type this, type it all in one line, basically. And then it will know that it's a decision. Step 2, click sync tasks and decisions. That will sync them back, I guess. Click save. Okay, well let's see what that looks like. So you're in the meeting right here, and you got your decisions, your meeting. Okay, so when we're talking about this, there was a decision, if I can spell correctly, decision going to Chipotle. Decision using my free entree reward. Okay, we got that. And then there was like a task, Adele to fill up the car with gas at Adele Vance on 12. What day is today? The 11th, 2020. What's this update? Updating OneNote page. So that updated the meeting minutes. Let's see, I want to click sync tasks. That opens up the page here. There we go. So now it added that decision and it added a task. It assigned it to Adele due today. Hit save. That's going to add it to Microsoft Planner, it looks like, because it says open Planner. Okay, so now I've got some decisions. I've got some tasks. It added new tasks. What does that look like back over here? So it looks like you're kind of driving the meeting from OneNote or from Word, like wherever you put your meeting minutes. And those don't really show up here in the thing. This is basically the agenda. It looks like is driving the meeting for like the meeting window. But as soon as you open minutes, that's where over here, that's where the real power is. What's this look like for the person who's external to the company? Yeah, so like my administrator at my company would have to like add this and then I could use it. So this looks like this is just for, internal to Contoso because the tenant admin added it as an Azure AD app. But that's pretty dang cool. Like there's kind of a lot of power there to be able to add things. I'm curious, how much does this cost? The notify attendees, update meeting minutes, you can lock the meeting, print the agenda. Why would you do that? And you could save it as a template and you can have it like weekly or whatever. This is pretty powerful, it seems like. So let's go to decisions. Pricing. Let's check out what the pricing is on this, and then we'll go on a little bit further. Okay. Pricing for decisions. Oh, you got to request pricing. There's an indicator that it's expensive, right? They don't tell you up front what it's going to be. They want to craft a quote for you. Okay. That is decisions. That looks like a pretty cool app, but also looks like it might be kind of hard to get into. All right, I've added 3 apps. Let's get out of here. Let's start a new meeting and kind of press on. All right, new meeting. Another round. Gotta add Adele to the meeting and send it. Okay, another round. We're going to open that up and see what the next app on the list is. Teamflect. So we got 4 more to go. Teamflect, this is a manager hub for teams. Let's just add it. Let's go in blind. So one-on-ones, recognize people, manage your time better with easy tasks, build a positive culture. Okay, sign in. Megan Bowen. All right, so for her, this is going to maintain access. It's going to sign her in and read her profile. It's going to read all users' basic profiles, relevant people list, your relationship with people, and then calendars that you can access. It's going to be able to read not your calendar, or not only your calendar, but all the other ones, including your delegate calendars. So that can be dangerous if you have access to other calendars. Only works on one-on-one meetings between direct reports and managers. Okay, so I can't add this app to Adele. Does Adele have direct reports? Adele does not. Neither does Megan. Dang it. But Miriam does. But I don't want to really sign in as Miriam. I don't have her credentials. Okay, well, let's just, I guess, explore this a little bit. So Teamflect. Let's open it up, see what it looks like. See if it's got any information about the Teams app portion, the meeting app. Featured on the official Microsoft Teams blog. The UI for this looks pretty sweet. Good integrations. There's Outlook, Graph API, and Azure AD. Is it really free? So it only works with Office 365. It's totally free and will always be accessible to all the features for companies who have under 25 employees. If you have more than 25 employees, you have to move to our paid tier, which starts at $3 per month. Okay, so there's their pricing structure. It's free if you got less than 25 people in your company, or $4 per person per month, or you can get a quote, or you can do $3 per person or get a quote. They have phone support, stuff like that. So that was for one-on-ones. Let's see if it has any information about the app for one-on-ones. So there's Contoso, Megan Bound. One-on-one meetings. There's some talking points. You can add talking points to it, which is good. So Megan is the person who reports to Miriam. So Megan has the power to add the talking points during her one-on-one. This is what I want to discuss with my manager. And then Miriam can assign action items to Megan. So then she can come back and say that she started it, when's it due, add a comment, stuff like that. And then rate the engagement level of Megan Bound. So there's like a rating scale in there during the one-on-one session. So that's what it looks like in Outlook. Okay, interesting. But yeah, so it's only for managers down can install this application. I guess if you're an employee of a company, you can't install it as the individual contributor and then have your director start using it. Okay. Oh wait, I'm in a new meeting now. Let's go back to the calendar. Another round. Open this one up. And Monday.com. I'm going to add this one. All right. And here's her password. Right here. Okay, so the Monday.com integration, task management. Yeah, we'll just do like a simple Monday board here for project management. Okay. So we've got a board here. You've got probably some sample tasks. Yeah, so it's got a few tasks for today, tomorrow, next week. We've got some content now. So now in Teams, we're going to connect to this, which, oh my gosh, what's the the team's web address. It was the ultra long, yeah, this one. Hit login. Okay. And sign in so it integrates with Microsoft off. It's only going to read my profile. So pretty light permissions. But on the Monday.com side, it's going to do everything else. Read the boards, read the tasks, do all of that. Now I can say, here's my project board or the tasks. Go with the board. And then there we go. So it basically renders the entire website, inside of a tab right here. But in the meeting, what does it look like? Okay, so you got the little Monday.com icon right here. We're going to click on that. And then select a group. Planning, execution. So let's go to planning. Select an item. View the item. Okay, so it's drilling down to an actual activity. Okay, so I guess you're kind of one by one going through the activities, you're updating it. So you're like doing this, you're assigning it to Megan, you're giving her, you're moving it from like planning to execution and then hitting done. And then for the next item, we're going to click on this one, go through that item, and then you're going to go through and update that one. Assign this one to Megan. The status is I'm stuck. Done. And then so it should be updated because it's loading from the website every time. That says that it's stuck. If I go back to activity 1, I moved that to another group. I moved it from planning to execution. Let's see if that's reflected. Okay, so that is. If I close the app and reopen it, then go back to planning, because it reloaded everything, activity 1 is no longer there. I have to go to execution, then there's activity number 1, and I can do that. Now I can also go through new items. So it looks like this is a very focused app. During the meeting, we're gonna like go into a bucket from our Monday board. Right here, like Monday, get out of this. We're gonna go into we're gonna talk about this bucket and just like go one through one, or one by one through all of the list items, update everything, get done with the meeting and get out of there. So that's pretty cool. I could see that like helping with like hyper focused, like we want to focus just on this one thing. Otherwise, if you were sharing your screen and you're sharing this whole deal here, then you could get distracted with like, oh, what's up with this one that's stuck, and you don't get to the one that you actually want to talk about down here further. So if you don't see all the rest of them, you maybe have a more focused meeting that way. Okay, so that's Monday.com. Let's see what else we got. Asana. I know this is another popular app. I don't use this. Never seen it before. So we're gonna see how it works. Connect. I guess she's got to sign up because it's not Google off. So Megan. Right here, right there. Apparently I didn't copy the password. I just pasted her email in twice. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait, I gotta sign up. Duh. Oh, goodness. Megan. Try for free. Okay, so I gotta like acknowledge it. So let's go to Outlook. Okay, so let's see here. I should have from there's decisions, priority matrix, Teamflect. Yeah, there's Asana. Okay, so get rid of these and verify email address. Okay, so Megan's gonna get an account for Asana. We're gonna see what that looks like. So that new. So she does marketing and to-do lists. Okay, so yeah, let's say schedule brainstorm. Create press outreach. Continue. So she's kind of going through, she's creating this like task list. That's fine. Do you want to view it as a board? I like the board look. It's like planner. Just take me to my project. Okay. She's in, there's a 30-day trial, and let's look at what it looks like in Teams. So Asana, now I gotta like reset it up because now I can actually be logged into it. So this is Megan. Her account is here. And her password is here. Okay. So we're going to allow. And there we go. So there's the workspace. Now we're going to, got a task. Task created during this meeting will appear. So we're not building an agenda. We're doing this during the meeting and not really like reading or seeing what's in the meeting. Let's go back. Let's go to Asana. And we're going to create new tasks. So then you got the created tasks. So it's not reading from that board, is it? I guess I could search projects. There was like, what was it called? Like marketing plan, I think, or something like that. What did I call my project? I just called it test. Okay, so test. Okay, so it's assigning it to the project. It's not reading from it. So it's not like an update your existing tasks. So do the thing. Make it bound. There's no due date. 16, and you can write a description. Share it with the attendees. Okay, that could be interesting. Yeah, this another hyper focused. Like we're gonna go through. We're gonna like create action items as they come up in the course of the meeting, but it's not really like reviewing the board. It looks like when I did that, I shared it with attendees, so it did. The bot said, "Hey, here's a new task," and it shared it into the chat. And if you click View in Asana, it does the website. Okay. Yeah, do the thing. There it is. It's in this project. Okay, so that's pretty simple. And then the next one on the list here is just range. So this is the third one. So this is check-ins, share check-in, stay in sync. So kind of like a stand-up, right? What are you working on today? What did you work on yesterday? Do you have any blockers? So let's check that out. range.co. So this is going to maintain access to the data. It's going to sign in as her profile. Authentication failed. Interesting. Try it again. Okay, so that I'm going to sign up, but it's not letting me sign up. All right, let's go to this one. Try it for free. Continue with Microsoft. It failed. Okay. Let's go back. Sign up. We're just going to do it plain, then not integrated with Microsoft. Okay, it still tried, probably because it recognized that domain as being from Microsoft. Okay, well, that didn't work. So that is one that we can't test either. All right, that is all of the apps for Microsoft. So we learned a couple things. You can only add 3 apps to a meeting before you run out of space on the meeting control bar, like up here at the top. Before you run out of space up here at the top, you can add 3 custom meeting apps. Once you hit that, you run out of space, and you can't add any more. So that's something that we learned. And then lots of these apps, they require information about you. You're gonna have to log into something. I think probably of all of these, I show back here, I think the one that the couple that I was the most impressed with here, if I go back to the meetings, check these out, is, so Polly seemed interesting, but like there was like a few weird things. It seems like it's better than Microsoft Forms, but like not quite. Like it kind of had a little bit of quirks to it, and you're pretty limited. You can only have what, 25 responses a month. So you're going to run out pretty quickly. Slido, it looks like you would be able to use it longer before you ran out of like the free limitations. It definitely had more functionality, I think, than all of the other like Q&A and polling features, apps in here. So it seems like Slido was probably the coolest one I saw. Polly looked pretty cool, but I don't think you'd be able to use it for very long before you had to pay. And then yeah, you wouldn't be able to go very far. And then Forms, it's built in. It's the most basic, but it's also, you know, built in to there. So you don't have to like log in with some other account. You don't have to sign up for an agreement or anything like that. Forms seems to be like the most accessible. Slido seems to be the most bells and whistles. And then everything else is kind of in between when it comes to like Q&A stuff. Priority Matrix, that seemed like a nice app that had a ton of functionality end to end, but it kind of, you know, when I've tried it, it's annoyed me with like a lot of, you know, emails and things like that about like trying to help me all the time, and it just kind of was like in the way. I think if you were already bought into Priority Matrix, then that would probably be a really cool app. The HireVue Interviews, I could see that integration being really nice and tight with Microsoft Teams. Same with Decisions. That was pretty impressive, but it was pretty in depth. You know, you had to like get a Teams admin to go apply this Azure AD app, and then you had to, you know, it was pretty deep, like with OneNote. So a lot of project management, though, they live out of OneNote all day, every day. So that could be a pretty awesome app for them. Though I think that if I remember right, there was a hard wall like before you had to like do a premium account. So that was pretty rough. A lot of these I just didn't get to try because they required already having like an existing account. Like Lucid Agreements, I could see that being something very valuable, but you had to already be bought into that system. Wakelet, that seemed to me to be a little bit, you know, light, or like not provide a ton of value in the meeting. Same with this Buncee. Like those two things, like either like Buncee didn't seem to work whenever I tried it out. But both of them, like they didn't really have all that much depth to them. So there's that. I think of all of these, I was most impressed with Slido. That one's the coolest one. HireVue, I think, has really good possibility. Same with decisions. And then Teamflect, the idea of that seems really cool, like better relationships with your manager. So those would probably be my top picks of all these. But I hope that was helpful. I hope that provided some value to see what's behind some of these buttons without having to click on them yourself, without having to agree to those or give access to your calendar, your actual work calendar. We got to see what it looks like from a Microsoft side. So without further ado, Kaleem's heading out. I'm gonna head out as well. And thank you guys for sticking around, checking these things out. If there's other things you want me to test or try out, it's nice having these test tenants so we could do stuff like this and see what's on the other side of some of these things that we may not want to do with our actual account. So I hope you guys are having a great day. Have a great weekend. And thanks for sticking around and hanging out with me for a little while. I'll talk to you next time. Have a good one.